Welcome to 5D All Day. I'm Danielle Kane, and I am the host of this awesome broadcast. And I'm so glad to be here today with Tracy. And we'll see if others will join us. We are here on a different time, different different hour, different day of the week sometimes. So I appreciate whoever can attend and have conversations with me. So thank you for being here. Awesome, awesome. So, a little bit about for anyone who's viewing this podcast for the first time. I've been doing this specific conversation where we go live on YouTube for about, I'd say, almost 3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. And I decided that this was all stemmed from my awakening and meeting people remotely who could have conversations like that wanted to talk about New
Oh,
Earth and wanted to talk about possibility of ascension and ascension symptoms or whatever these things were. I was just so curious in the journey of awareness, awakening, whatever that was, because everybody that I've talked to after that, had different perspectives, and that was fine. And but I there were a few that were really eager to keep the conversation going and how we can contribute to New Earth. And so that's where I was wanting to be all the time, and it made me so excited to have those conversations and leave the weekend feeling high vibing and stuff like that. So that's where 5D all day came about. And Nicole Gibbs, I didn't know she was going to be able to make it, but her and I did a 3D to 5D podcast about I think a year or so ago, and she re sent it out on her website, and I was like, I loved talking about how we felt about shifting in between the spaces of three dimension and five dimension space, and we do that. We're all frequency, so we shift in frequencies all the time. And so I felt like if we didn't have any natural flow conversation, that might be something that we can talk about if you're comfortable with that, Tracy.
yeah. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
tell me a little bit about you, real quick, and how you found spirit calling, and just some things that you've been working on and working with.
Oh, well. Oh, so many. So I would say my original spiritual awakening occurred, I think it was back in 2003 or four, somewhere in that time frame. Um, I had I was married for 15 years and had four kids.
Oh,
And
God bless you.
then yeah. And then at the age of 32, I found myself single with
Okay.
four kids under the
Hmm.
age of 10 or 12, actually. And so that began like that was a rude awakening for me altogether. So during that time frame, I came across Abraham Hicks.
Ah, yes.
And it totally turned me on. And also Neil Donald Walsh and his conversations with God.
Hmm.
Um, I come from a very religious background. Religion was my escape um, from being like ostracized at school, not quite fitting in. I could always fit in church, so that was like my home.
Hmm.
And I can remember even when my parents stopped going, I would beg them to take me. So I had a very strong religious background and fear-based,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So the conversations with God and Abraham Hicks was such a nice, soft meld into that space.
Hmm.
Um, then around 2010 to 2012, a friend of mine um, actually had a near-death experience and became extremely psychic and
Wow.
didn't know what to do with it and really struggled because he had no place to go and he was predicting things that actually came true to me like 10 years later um, and so he brought the mystical side, the metaphysical. Like I had never even looked at it because of my religious training had said psychics are bad, oracle cards are evil, don't proceed, you know. Um,
Hmm.
so I kind of dipped my toe in then, but my fear and my religious training really stopped that spiritual awakening. And it wasn't until 2019 timeframe when I had stepped into a different position at work that really wasn't a fit for me. And then COVID hit. And so I am now a supervisor for people in New York City, up and down the Eastern Seaboard. And that really brought me to my knees mentally. And I had to make some serious decisions as to what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of picked up again on the spirituality. I came across Pamela through watching Wisdom of the North was actually the first one. And then, of course, I eagerly tracked her down and started watching other things that she did. And what really excited me about this community was that I could have talks like this with people
Hmm.
in real time and
Yeah.
go, oh, this weird thing happened to me and I don't understand it. And that's what was really missing all along was
Yeah.
having somebody that I felt safe and comfortable reaching out to, because even if it's a feeling that you have or you get visited by ETs in the middle of the night, those are things you need to talk about, and you can't
Absolutely.
just go to your friend or your other, normal
Totally.
people
Yeah.
prior to this. So that's what brought me here, and that's why I'm here.
Wow, that's amazing. I just love your story, and I appreciate you because I know you guys are very consistent with your conversations within the community, and that's what's so important about Spirit Calling is it is a safe place to come to because people are having a lot of activity going on, and we're all on different journeys of where we are. So I know that you have been very active, and I'm always eager to hear what you have to say. But to know that your awakening happened a couple like early 2000s,
Decades, yeah.
I didn't realize that. So that's really amazing. And I have two kids. I mean, having four, I'm in it right now. I'm still in 8 years old and 11, and I'm balancing in these different frequencies, right? Where I have to be so present, but yet I want to do this like spiritual growth where, I'm really diving into human design in my zodiac chart, because I'm trying to understand what the next step is for me because I just sold my business. We're on the final days of selling our fitness business and trying to figure out what's next. So I really appreciate kind of where you've been. And now I feel like you're living the spiritual path on that 5D wavelength. So that's kind of like perfect segue into some other things we can talk about. So thank you.
Cool. Mhm.
Mike, and I don't know what your name is, BV and
Oh, I'm sorry.
B.
I'm Barb or Barbara.
Barbara. Hi, Barbara.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi. Sorry, I
Hi.
didn't realize it didn't say my
It's
full name on
okay.
there.
It's okay. I just don't want to be rude, but we're just going around making introductions of ourselves, how we came to our awakening journey, or just what our journeys look like, and how we found spirit calling, and then we kind of just free flow, really. But I had some thoughts about conversation after we do that. But right now, let's start off with you, Barbara. Give us a little introduction and how you found spirit calling.
Okay. Um, I was always a little bit different, but I didn't realize that I was. And recently I've had this epiphany of I wish like I've never we can't see how our brains work in relation to other people's brains. And
Hmm.
I'm now realizing that my brain works a little bit differently than everybody else's. And I think I knew it subliminally, but now it's actually coming to the forefront. So COVID, it's the same as everybody else. Yeah, everybody has their awakening, but I immediately, again, I hope I don't offend anybody, but immediately in my mind, it was it was all a bunch of nonsense. I'm not
Oh, I'm
saying
not
people didn't
offended.
get, okay. I'm not saying people didn't get sick. I'm just saying it was not organic and natural, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And I started this journey to search for the truth. And so I don't know if anybody knows, like, I think my first ones were like X22 and Mel K. I don't know if anybody resonates with those, but basically having nothing to do with spirituality or COVID, but just trying to learn the truth about our life.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, my brain was able to say, oh, okay, they went into the witness protection program. This one is a man
Oh.
instead, whatever the situation was. And then I quickly realized I was trying to show everybody what I had learned, and nobody else was interested or cared, and just thought I was crazy. And
Hmm.
then I thought it was a curse for years, doing this, and I slowly my frequency would change, and I would have to just get rid of people in my life. And just a typical thing. I argued with I tried to explain it to my brother, and they all just, laughed at me. And so anyway, I thought at first I thought it was like this curse because I couldn't be around anybody because nobody understood what I was going through, and it was kind of like an apathetic state wherever I turned. And
Hmm.
so I just kind of went inward, and then one day I just stumbled across, and Dolores Cannon is the only person my boyfriend had, but I didn't know Next Level Soul. I didn't know any of these people that you all
Right.
knew about. So when he showed
I
me
just
Dolores, I
discovered Next
started
Level
listening.
Soul when Pamela went on it, to be honest. So we're all
Yes,
finding it when we're meant to find it, right?
when we're meant to find it. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. So when I saw her on Yannika's show,
Hmm.
True North, I had never seen anybody like her before. And I was like, oh my God, there's somebody out there like me, And I was just like, immediately, I'm like, you're my new BFF because
Yeah.
I hadn't for years hadn't been able to relate to anybody.
Yeah.
And then I joined and I started listening, and I realized I didn't even know what you guys were even talking about. So I kind
Yeah.
of had to take a pause and go back and start learning. I didn't know what an aura was. I didn't know about any of it. I realized I had gone back. I was going back to revisit my past uh, traumas in my own life. And so I was going through these experiences, but I didn't really understand what was happening. So that's basically my story is I found Pamela, sorry, I had to plug in. Pamela online, and now I have all of these other people that I can lean on, and I'm very grateful for that.
Oh, that's awesome. It's so funny that you mention, like, because it's how you kind of are looking at your reality at first before the spiritual journey started for you. I'm kind of doing the flip flop. Now I'm really trying to
Yeah.
find, well, I see it now more and more, all the lies, right? And the cover ups, like, what are we really living in? I'm like, come on, just pull the band-aid off already. I'm so ready to just
Yes, yes, just give us the
witness.
truth, just we
Yeah,
can. I
we
watched
can
another one of
handle it.
you're like, we can handle it, just give us the truth.
Yes. And some people might not. I've run into some people that are highly triggered and traumatized, and they're through their healing. There's a lot of people that I think haven't been able to go down the path of forgiveness, and that's a whole nother level. But there's a lot of pain and trauma from their upbringing, and maybe some of them will not be able to uh, understand this yet. And that's okay. Everybody has a path that they're meant to. I think COVID was meant to push the awakeners on a
Yeah.
quicker trajectory. I think that's the plan. And I know it's hard for some people, who know that people got sick and the whole thing. And but it brought my family together. And I know it separated a lot of families because I guess that was the time that was the crossroads for I think a lot of us. So,
Well, my mom ended up getting sick, and that was the head because I don't know if anybody knows about remdesivir and
yes,
the CARES
I
Act
know all about it.
protocol.
Yep.
I know I could write a book about it.
I feel
And
did
so
they put her on remdesivir? Did they do
they
that?
did. She tested positive for COVID, and they put her on remdesivir, which really created a rift within my family because they didn't understand. And I'm trying to explain it to them. I'm like, go to Amazon, what the nurses saw, like, and the travel nurses would come to the house, and they would explain. Once they realized that I knew what was going on, they would share. But I couldn't get my family on board. And my mom was trying to tell me that she was over medicated. So they
Mhm.
were trying to follow the doctor's orders, and I was trying to use my mental common sense and what I had learned from what they didn't know, and it really created a problem for my family.
Is she okay now?
She's great. She's 88, and she's
Yay.
she's awesome. She's probably at the Y right now if I had to guess.
Wonderful. Because I know
Yeah.
remdesivir was causing kidney failure. if I can recall, or some kind of kidney issue.
Yeah. Yes, they had her. I think it's 9 days. But it floods your body with fluid, and then they put you
Mhm.
on the ventilator. It's
Right.
all, you know.
Thankfully, she didn't get on a ventilator, I'm
I got
assuming.
her out of there. I
Good.
had I had them bring in their own COVID test, and she tested negative, but they were mad, and they released her without hospital at home, and I was there by myself trying to care for her, and she was extremely ill. So they got me back.
Yeah.
They didn't like the fact that I knew what was going on, but I got her
Yeah.
out of there, and she barely survived. But
Wow.
yeah, it still is a very traumatic experience because of what I had to go through with my siblings, and they're following what the doctors are saying, and I'm telling them something totally different. And, I'm her
What
designated caregiver as per her orders, and
yeah.
it got really ugly.
Where is the family now on as far as like, do they still believe what the doctors say and the government
Yes.
says? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Got
absolutely. 100%. They think I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist, which is just fine.
it.
I wear it with a badge now.
Oh my gosh. This is,
Yeah.
and this is where I wonder what's going to happen when it's going to happen. The ceiling is already cracked, right? And it's just a matter of time of like from what I've witnessed and what I think some of the channelers are saying that, some will just never accept it and they'll go off on their path, right?
Yeah.
But I think right now, I think a lot of people, I mean, you can't not see it, right? Now it's
Yeah.
just so blatant in your face with all the things that are
It's
happening.
it's so they're making it for those of us who know what's going on, it's absolutely ridiculous what we're
Right.
seeing on TV now. It's
Yeah.
it's it's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm seeing three groups. I'm seeing our group, I'm seeing a group that they're using the word, which is fascinating to me, the word shift. There's like
Okay.
even I'm in upstate, I'm in New York, not New York City,
Okay.
but
I'm
so
in
I'm
New
in a
Jersey.
you're in New Jersey. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
understand that culture.
Oh, yeah.
But some of them are they're feeling a shift, and then there's some that there's just it's not gonna happen.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you. That was really nice to get to know you and to hear
Yes.
your story. I appreciate that so much.
Yes, thank you.
Mike, and there's quite a bit of activity going on the chat on YouTube. So there's a lot of spirit calling friends chiming in, Rose, Michael, some of the Mike, someone's reaching out to you. Oh, is it Shantae? Shanta?
Shantae, probably.
Shanta.
Shantae. Shantae.
Shantae. She's saying hi. Mandy's online. So there's a lot of people saying hello to everybody. So thank you guys for all, yeah, yeah, for all you guys being here. And Barb, someone's saying you're so cool. Oh, Michael says you're so cool.
Oh, thanks, Michael. I think you're cool too. I love all your posts.
Yes, awesome. So they're watching. They probably can't necessarily participate at the moment. So I'm just glad that they're here with us in spirit. So Michael or Mike, please tell us a little bit about you. Welcome.
Welcome. Hi. Thanks, Danielle. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Um,
too.
so just going back for me, I had my first quote unquote encounter in like 1980, and I followed what two UFOs around for 2 hours one night on a work night anyway. So I knew, and of course, me and my buddy were trying to get a ride and nothing happened. But anyway, that's a joke within the community too. But anyway,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, so I always knew, and whatever, I grew up in the Catholic Church and had enough of the doom and gloom. When I got to high school, my dad about, killed me because I refused to go to church. But anyway, so that was that. And then in 1980, like I said, me and my buddy, it was late at night. I saw this orange thing fall out of the sky, and then I'm sitting there, and then cylindrical cigar shape comes up the river, moving really slow. Got out of the car. It's November. It's cold as crap. I was in Ohio, grew up in Cincinnati, outside of Cincinnati. But anyway, and we're like, it's not making any noise, and it was just crazy. So we're like, let's follow. So we did anyway, and we were trying to contact. I was flipping my lights off and on, and anyway, it didn't work.
You were just like, I'm here. I'm ready to
We're
connect.
here. We're here. Exactly. And anyway, and then, we drove around and we were at a different spot up on top of a hill because I'm like, well, maybe we need to go further out in the country farther. And this time we had a triangular shaped craft come over us. And at this time, it's like 2 hours later, and we're like, it's 1 o'clock or 1:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I got to get up and go to work. So did he. And we're like, okay. So I took him back to his house, dropped him off, went down. He lives kind of on the hill overlooking the river, crossed the bridge, turned right on the main road going into my town. And it parallels the river just kind of in a long curve. And right when I was going across the bridge, here comes the triangular craft up the river, moving very slowly, just kind of like this, and flies right over me. I turn right, and then we're parallel, and then it just streaked out of the sky and was just gone like that. So
Wow.
that was my first
How many, that was years ago, would you
in
say?
1980. In
1980.
1980. And what's weird, and Shantae will
Did
appreciate
you have
this.
any belief of like anything at that time? Like obviously you're raised Catholic, right? And like
I was always, I don't know, I was into Ray Bradbury stuff in high school and science fiction and all about, whatever. Anyway, but just to me, it was like I just found it naive that people would think that we're the only ones here.
right,
In,
absolutely.
the expanse that
Right.
that is there. But anyway, but yeah, now I just lost my train of thought.
Well, you were talking about this craft,
What
yes.
I was going to tell you, and Shantae is probably laughing because she's part of MUFON. But anyway, so the next morning I go into the little print shop that I was running at the time, and some guy popped in. Here again, synchronicity. Not didn't realize it at the time, but this guy comes in, and I'm telling my buddy that I work with and everybody, I'm like, this is what happened. This was unbelievable. And da da da. And this guy comes in, and he's like, well, I'm part of MUFON, and he's like, and I'm like, what? I'm like, this is awesome. Okay. So just again, didn't realize the synchronicity at that time, but started talking to me. He said, oh, yeah, Loveland, that's a hot spot. It's suburbia of Cincinnati where I grew up. Anyway, and he's like,
Mhm.
that's a hot spot. I'm like, okay, interesting. So that was
That's
that.
fascinating.
Move forward, whatever. I met my wife, got married in 87. We had a real spiritual awakening and I don't.
Shantae said she's laughing with not a hee hee.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And anyway, so my wife and I had our spiritual awakening around I don't know, 2005, 2006, something like that. And when we read Brian Weiss's books, Many Lives, Many Masters, and
Yeah,
just kind of
it's
went
a good
on from
one.
there.
So you guys had your awakening together because that's also very rare. I've been watching some things about how two souls are awakening together from Alan Watts. He says typically you're not going to have that. And that's, I think, what we witnessed in COVID was the shift in the souls that are, finding one another and the ones that are not meant to be together.
Yeah, and I don't know about that. I do know, well, again, being in the community, I work with Billy and did a regression, and that's a whole another trip there. But my wife and I have been together, of course, through different things. We were
Different
together in
lifetimes.
Lemuria, we were together in Lemuria. Anyway, so
Yeah,
and
I
on and
love it.
on. And so that was
The
back
alien
then.
crafts are coming to get you back. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly, exactly. And then, back then it's like I read the Seth material and then Seth Speaks, and I'm like, okay, there's more to all this stuff. And it was funny. I got out of school. We got married. I went to college and got my degree, and I got out when I was 30. And I started listening to a lot of Brian Tracy stuff about written programming techniques and this and that. I was in sales, and it freaking next thing I know, it's like whatever I'm writing, it doesn't happen like this, but yeah, next thing I know, these goals are just moving right into me and forward.
Mhm.
So anyway, unfortunately, I lost my wife, kind of like Michael. He lost his wife too. We're the widowers, and Richard also in the group, 4 years ago to breast cancer. But, that was her path. That was her, I realize now, what was going on. But she still gave me crap for watching Ancient Aliens all the time. This is all, I'm like, yeah, yeah, no,
That's
it's
like my
not.
mom. My mom loves Ancient Aliens. It's so
Yeah.
fun. Well, I'm sorry to
Anyway,
hear about your loss, but it's
yeah,
great that you
I
guys,
know she's around.
yeah.
She's guiding. Anyway, so as far as my re-spiritual awakening, because I was, just there in the background. And then last fall this time, I was out on the dating app. I met somebody. Anyway, long story short, we ended up in Savannah, Georgia for a long weekend. I'm in Atlanta, but anyway,
Okay.
um,
You're in
and
Atlanta?
yeah,
Hey,
yeah, yeah. So Dina's not far from here. I'm in Roswell, and she's not far. But anyway,
we
um,
might be, my husband might be working there for on a project in a couple in January. And then I
where
have a
at? Where?
I'm not sure exactly. Well, I don't know if you know who Glenn Powell is. Do you know who he is?
I know who. Yeah,
He's an actor.
yeah.
And so
Georgia
our
film.
background is in the fitness industry. I mentioned
Okay,
that I had just sold the business, but the reason we sold it was because he kept getting these opportunities to go on site to train various actors for
nice.
projects. And there's Atlanta apparently has
Oh, it's a big film
production
industry.
stuff. Yeah. So
Big
we might
film
be
industry.
there in a little bit. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's terrible. The weather, it's going to
It
be
is, and it's
70
crazy
next
in
week.
Atlanta
Yeah,
though.
it's up and down. But anyway, so meanwhile, I ended up in Savannah. The one morning we got up and there was just a market there with the fountain where the fountain is, and everybody knows the famous fountain from the movie in Savannah, whatever. Anyway, and we're just walking, and there was she called herself like the witch from Third Street or something. So I got a little reading from her, whatever, which was fine. And then there was another girl there doing tarot, and I'm like, okay. So I started looking into that and getting more and more, so I got online, Pam Gregory, David Clements, et cetera, et cetera. I came across Pamela in the spring last year, bought the meditations. And I was just telling her last night on the mastermind call, I was like, oh yeah, I did that like late April, May, something
Did
like
you
that.
join right away or were you just like
No,
observing?
no,
Okay.
no, no. So I've been just absorbing and watching and everything else. And then when I saw the Transcendence Conference in San Diego, the minute I got the email, I was like, I got on the phone with my sister who's in Florida, and I was like, I think I need to go to this. And
Yeah.
she's like, these are your people, Michael. You need to go.
Yeah.
So, so I
I would
did.
was did you have a great time?
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was
Oh my
awesome.
God. I
It was
wish I could have been
awesome.
there. I got to
It-
make the next one because I've been to a QHHT retreat because I'm a practitioner and I did that and I did enjoy that. But I really want to get with other practitioners, channelers, whatever it is. That group looked awesome.
yeah, it was. So I went there with the sole purpose of just absorbing, and then of course Pamela was there, and then they had had her other members that were already members there, Rose and Michael and
Yeah.
Tim and Dina and Amanda was there. But anyway, it was just I can't say enough. And it's like the minute I saw Pamela, I was like, well, you're the reason I'm here. I'm joining. And
Hmm.
she's like,
That's so
she's like,
great.
okay.
She's just so amazing how she'll just like she's come a long way. I've met her before when she was just launching the platform,
Uh-huh.
and I give her a lot of credit, man. She just brings in with she makes it look graceful. And I just love that about her because she's probably the most authentic person I've ever met.
Yeah, and that's again coming back to what Barb and Tracy said. I mean, that's the thing. It's like I can't say enough. It's like this is my tribe, this is my family. I
Oh,
found my space for sure. There's just no doubt about it.
that
Um,
feels so good. I makes me feel so I can feel all this like energy of like I think what we all want. We all want to find a place where we belong.
yeah.
And I'm so glad that you found that here, and it's so important.
And Shantae, FLFE has got me.
Let's see what she says. She just said Pamela brings the juice. She does it. The Council of Light and Pamela don't play, but we'll see what she says about what you said. Oh, wow. So that's great, guys. Those are great stories. So what I want to say is like where how are you guys feeling with this is going to be a big year. I feel like January, from what I heard, is going to be crazy. I don't know what you guys have heard, but I heard there's going to be like it's actually, and you get dates and you never know. So I'm not going to put anything out there, but like we're going to go through a lot all in one month. I don't know what you guys have heard, but just like an awakening. something's going to be put out there. It's just I feel like, and then the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them are really going to be at their highest, the highest point. But a lot's going to be revealed. I don't know where you guys are or how you feel about that, but I'm excited. But part of me is also like, I want to prepare and stay in a high vibration. So, what are you guys feeling about this upcoming year?
Go ahead, Tracy.
I I feel the same way. I remember 6 months ago it was like trepidation, like something's gonna happen.
Hmm.
And now I feel more excited. And I am a big gold and silver, like I have a lot of money invested, and I'm seeing what's happening with the gold and silver quietly behind the scenes.
Hmm.
And like I feel like I know the end result of what's gonna happen, but I don't know and what time frame. And now I see that the financial system is starting to make its move, and I'm
Hmm.
like, it's time to go. It's go time. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. 2026 is going to be a banger
Yeah. Yeah.
in
We'll
a
see
good
what,
way. I mean, I think they're gonna pull their shenanigans, but
yeah. There's not much left though. There's I think the exposure is just so high now. So I don't know how much left they have to cover themselves up. And I think that's the first level. And I think other things are going to be exposed that are like more biblical, I guess, in some way, from what
and
I've heard.
I think a lot of stuff has already happened. We just haven't been told. That's what I think.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Shantae said we're going to fly or at least levitate. I would love that. Okay. We got to get together, Shantae. You're right up my alley. I mean, I just want
As
to,
Trey says, girl, you'd be fun to go out drinking with.
yeah, I've been outside my body my whole life. I'm ready to just continue, but let's bring everything together now. That's fun. Today, Three Eye Atlas is the closest to Earth today. That's
Yep.
Rose sharing. Interesting.
And
Yeah,
it's
and don't fear and don't prepare. Thank you, Mandy. I agree. I agree. Tracy, what do you think?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm glad that I've had 6 months of being here at Spirit Calling because I had a lot of fear with the
Mhm.
unknown. Like I didn't know what a lot of this stuff was. And to to have to watch other people and like Barb was saying, like if you don't understand something, then somebody mentions it, well then I go look into it and I get more information. So I'm looking at 2026 with, I would say, no fear,
Yeah,
which is
that's
because
great.
I've lived my whole life in fear. That's like huge.
Yeah.
Um, but now I feel like I have a sense of control because once you spiritually awaken and you realize that the power resides within you and you have a choice, and yes, things are
Mhm.
happening that you don't have a choice in, but I just found that I have more control going into this year than I did last year even. And this last year was a doozy
Yeah.
in
Well,
of
you have a
itself.
decision to decide how you want to feel about it. That's the best part.
Right.
You can choose to be
Right.
in fear or not be in fear, right? Like you said.
Yeah. It's like a litmus test too. So
Sure.
if I watch or see something or if I hear something and it strikes fear in me and I start feeling myself going through my normal fear response, then I kind of go, hold up. Is it really true? And
Yeah.
does it really matter? And how does that really affect me here, right here in my space? So I'm going to continue to do what we've been doing along is going within, seeking, trying to be calm. Sometimes it's like every hour I will have to just take 5 minutes to pause and go within because I've spent my whole life being outside running and chasing fears. So
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. I
I
keep
think
my
that's
head down
great.
and move forward.
That's great advice. And like usually when going back to COVID real quick, like if we looked out the window
Yeah,
during COVID, would it look like COVID? Like people were on the floor gasping for air, like we were in a completely pandemic. Like if you looked out your window, did it look that way? No, because that's our own landscape. We wouldn't know if we didn't have TV or
right.
something feeding us a program or feeding us knowledge. We just would not be aware. Or if you were at the hospital and then you saw what was going on, and then we were really hearing what was going on. A lot of what we were hearing about people dying and all these deaths and the charts and all these things were just to keep us in
Ticker
that low
tape on the
vibration.
TV.
What's that?
the ticker tape on,
Yeah.
the ticker tape of the people that are, on the TV. How ridiculous. I just,
Oh, I
Well,
screenshotted it like
Yeah,
daily. I was
yeah.
screenshotting it. In
and
fact, they're
everybody
still in
says
my
this.
phone.
They say the same thing. When you start to hear the same person repeat the same thing, that's my first sign. Like, okay, I can't buy into this because I know someone's being told what to say, and this is
Mhm.
all like orchestrated for us to not look beyond that. Like, don't look over here. Don't look behind the curtain and see
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
pulling all the strings. Because and it's so fascinating how they put these movies out too, like right at the right time, and the discoveries. And you were talking about the aliens. And did you? I don't know what the name of the movie is, but there's a little boy who wants to be abducted by aliens. It's actually quite
Oh,
fascinating.
yeah. Elios, I think it's
Elio,
called.
yeah. It
Yeah,
actually was really
Elio.
kind of great, but he's like, "Come get
Mhm.
me, aliens."
Yeah.
And they did. They abducted him and created a clone that was here. And I'm like, wow, this is really fascinating. Like some of these movies, you got to be careful. Obviously, there's always some kind of underlining message but if you're aware, going in with awareness rather than being programmed to believe like this is just fairy tale, then you can understand the messages. But it's just very fascinating time right
and
now.
part of their cult religion, whatever you want to call it, is they have to tell you what they're
Right.
going to do before they actually do it. So that's a way
And
of them to,
and that
get
we
it out
accept by
there.
watching the movie too. That's some kind of
Correct.
Oh,
acceptance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy. I
it
call that bad rules,
it's
okay?
true.
I
But
know.
that's what they're designed to do. They have to tell the
Oh,
truth in some way. And that's why even in some of these conferences or if you hear the news, the words are kind of twisted in a certain way. So they're telling the truth, but not really telling the truth. It's very interesting. How about you, Mike? What do you think the New Year's going to bring? What are your thoughts?
Well, to me, I've just become very, very calm and just completely from because I'm high energy. I was always just go, 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 and I'm an Aquarius, so it's
Me
like
too. When's your
let's
birthday?
February 5th.
On the 4th.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, well, it's like push the boundaries, break the rules, push, push, push. Anyway, so for me, this has been a complete reversal because I'm just so much more relaxed and just content. But so I think, and again, the mass chaos is going to happen because it's supposed to. And then coming back to, I know everybody's been channeling or not channeling, but watching Ann Tucker's 40 days of channeling mother of all of creation. And
Mhm.
she's saying, just go to the bank and get your singles. So that's on my list to do too. But it's like it doesn't matter. It's going to be what it's going to be, and it has
Yeah,
to happen. So,
absolutely.
and it's funny too. I was just talking with somebody else. They've got family in Venezuela, and it's like it's just like here in the States. You
Right.
got you got people every day just doing just living our lives, going about our business, and then you've got the leaders that are all running around with their heads cut off, and everybody else is the majority. Well, I can't say majority, but the smart people are just living their lives and ignoring all the chaos and just moving forward. So
Yeah.
anyway, and I was going to say too, with all the stuff about COVID, it reminded me of growing up in the 60s because I'm showing my age. But anyway, the Vietnam War every night on the news. And that's, it's like today's casualties were da 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 da. And it
Yeah.
was, the
Yeah.
same, all this negative stuff. And I don't understand how people, because it's like, I don't know how people, and I've got my favorite aunt and uncle, but it's like, Fox Business News is on, and it's they just the same crap when I go to visit
Yeah.
them over and over and over. And I'm like, where's the positive stuff? Where's the what's really going on in the world? So
Right. No, I love that you said that because even that comes so close to home too with my kids sometimes is like somehow there's this light coding of like programming of negativity because I notice my kid and they're learning. I get it. But I always say to them, when are we going to say more positive things about one another? Like rather than being at each other's throats,
exactly. And
I
then
just feel like there is this layer that we have to kind of like just get past that. And we want more positive information, you know?
yeah, and coming back to what you guys were talking about, the movies. So, and it just goes in and it's like you know, Dave is part of the group. We're talking about how do we awaken our kids? We don't. It's like
Yeah, we
we
don't.
don't. Everybody's on their own timeline. But you look at all this, it's like all the video games, shoot them
Yeah.
up. Okay, and
Yep.
now they're advertising the latest Avatar movie. So the Avatar movies are all us against them, da 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 da.
I do
And
find them fascinating. I might go see it.
oh, I know, but my point. It's we're under attack. Where this is
Yes, we
happening.
are.
It's this lack of balance. So
Yeah,
where's the harmony at? And anyway, that's my
I
take.
hear
My
you.
my niece is afraid of a bar of soap because there might be germs. She wants
Are
the
you
squeeze
serious?
bottle. It's so sad.
That is so sad. That's
So
Wow.
sad.
disturbing. Yeah. My
Fear.
where do you guys feel? I'm in New Jersey, and for me, now knowing like the whole political spectrum is just all bad, to be honest. I mean, we're finding that out now that really it's us, it's them against us. It's them to keep us suppressed from ever knowing how much power we have, right? But how many people do you feel like where you are still stuck in the system pretty hardcore? Like they believe what they see, where you're from. Barbara, you're in New York, so I'm pretty sure you're like me. Like
98% where I live, honestly,
people are
nobody.
just
I don't have one person that I can talk
so they're
to.
still
Not one.
just kind of like showing up, doing the 9 to 5 hamster wheel. Like life is just they're just
Hamster wheel, big
grinding,
time.
grinding. That's all that they know.
Grinding. The ego is just super strong, like I'm the best, I'm the
Yeah.
PTA, all of yeah, the ego is really, really big, and the cognitive dissonance is high.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about you, Mike, in Atlanta? What are you feeling that's over there?
I think it's still the majority, and it's funny too because I'll say this: my dear neighbors across the street, they're just love them to death. They're phenomenal people, but when I was at dinner with them last night, I was talking with her name's Cindy. It's Mike and Cindy anyway, but I was talking with Cindy and I was saying something about it. I said, I just don't watch any news. I said,
Yeah,
I
me neither.
just complete, and these people were avid Fox News watchers. And she's like, I've just turned it off. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but
Thank God.
yeah, I was like impressed because it's not on autoplay, and then it's how it is. It doesn't matter which channel you turn on. If it's news, it's the same negative crap every hour or whatever. They just keep repeating it all day and all day and all day.
Hmm.
So but that kind of surprised me. But as far as there's still, I think, again, everybody, I think there's just a majority of people that are just caught
Yeah.
up in it, and then they're all caught in the chaos right now. Everything's, everything appears to be great, but it's really chaos under the lid. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people know in the 3D world, it's chaos, and they're
Yeah.
still running on the wheel.
Well, and then a lot of the times too, and what I witnessed, at the gym, we're a very small boutique gym. And so people would have conversations. Most people were left leaning, and it was very much a political, like you could tell that they were watching the news and saying what was going on. And it's like they're stuck in that mentality. And that's how they identify themselves almost as their political party,
Mhm.
which at the end of the day is like, that they're like, there really is no political party. And it's
Uniparty.
Yeah.
exactly. And like, so they're just, it's hard to see that. And then that's why it's best to somewhat become neutral. And this talks about frequency. How do you pull yourself out of like getting pulled in and being like, wake up, people? I've had to sit in that and just allow that person to be whatever they need to express and somewhat try to plant a seed of awakening, like opening, like, well, what happens if we looked at it from a broader perspective and maybe we don't know all that there is, right? Maybe what they're saying is just, something that they want to feed to the people, but maybe, we see what's going on here. We're all not, that the insurance rates are not great. Like what are they really doing, for the people? So, the whole thing of the shutdown of the government and whose fault is it? It's like so we can be hurting and they're going to continue their shenanigans. So anyway, Tracy, how about you? What do you witness? Where are you, by the way?
Well, I'm in red state. I'm in Nashville.
Nashville. Oh,
Um,
okay.
but I'm a transplant.
Okay.
So I don't have a whole lot of people here that I interact with, but I can say, it is a very red state in a very Christian based. So I would have to say out of everybody I know in my life, back home and in now, maybe 2% are awakened and maybe 5% I can drop nuggets and they'll just go, oh yeah, that is kind of odd, isn't it? Most
Mhm.
people are very much trapped
Yeah.
and they can't help it. It's just the programming and maybe not an opportunity yet. And I think the biggest thing is that the things that we have all come to realize that things are not what they seem,
Hmm.
it's been ridiculed.
Yeah.
Ridiculed, and nobody wants to be ridiculed. Everybody wants to fit in. So I feel I don't even know what the percentage of population there is, but I feel there's so many people who may see things that I post on social media and like they're watching, but they're not going to hit like because they don't want to be labeled.
Yeah.
So I'm just sharing
What do you
everything,
share?
whether
Can I ask?
it's,
What do you
hmm?
share on social media to like people, to everybody?
Yeah. So
I'd be
I'm
curious.
on social media. I name myself as a comedian because I will share memes. Okay.
Yeah.
Not a comedian, but a comedian. And that's just something that I've always done is just try to share laughter and love and happiness and making fun of the most ridiculous situations in life. And that's been very well. So then for this last year, I've been starting throwing in a couple of spiritual things. And I can name the same four people who are brave enough to like those ones. So I
Interesting.
know who those are. And you can look at the statistics and see what is getting more, likes than not. And honestly, it's just kittens and babies everybody loves. So you can
Can't go
put any
wrong.
message out
What
there with
about
kittens
dogs?
and
Do people like
babies.
dogs, or is that
Yeah,
not as high as
dogs too.
kittens?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there's definitely dog people too, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, if you want to get a message out there, right now the message has to be nice and sweet and bundled as not being made fun of, not being, attacked. I also am a big proponent of mental health and seeking out assistance because I'm Gen X. And we grew up that anybody who had a mental issue was crazy. And that's probably why Gen X is so angry right now because we really wanted to talk to people about things and we couldn't. And now we
Yeah.
can. And
Yeah.
so I've been doing that for 2.5 years, seeing a therapist in addition to my own what's making sense to me, building my intuition and building the spirituality. So for me, it's like all the different pieces of life
Yeah.
all come together in the middle. Everything is related. And so you just have to find the balance in your beliefs, really,
Yeah.
to not be that dissidence, not to be, out of whack with yourself. So
I think that's
so
so
yeah, so
important.
there's not that many people I know who are doing that yet, but
Yeah.
I do believe that in this next year, stuff's
Is
gonna
your
get
hair
real,
blue?
stuff's gonna happen. No, but my this is
Oh my
so.
God, your hair looks blue. I was like, whoa, isn't that fascinating? Your
Well, I do
folder
call
is
myself
this
Tracy
is what
Blue.
we're
Yeah.
talking about. The frequency that you can see blue in your hair. Do you guys see that
That's
too?
hilarious. Yeah, and I think it this? No, it's not this. I don't know. I guess spirit. I've always been known for my blue eyes.
Wow,
I
maybe
hid them.
your true
A true
color of
blue.
what you look like is like peeking out right now. It's the vibrations rising.
Well, I do feel that I am of the Palladian folks. I've had
Yeah,
messages from them, and so I don't
that's
know.
great. Now,
Yeah.
are you connecting with them directly?
I did a couple of times, yes, but it's not something I do every night, no,
Yeah.
because
I
I'm
feel like
still
a
figuring it
Palladian.
out.
I felt Andromedan too. I had a dream. If you guys don't mind me sharing this, I don't know if I think I might have shared this a couple times, but this is when I was really fascinated about like my star seed family and all that stuff. And I had this dream where I was looking in a mirror somehow, and I was reflecting it somewhere, and I like looked up my nose and I actually saw the real me. Like this was a mask.
Oh, cool.
It was
That's
fascinating, and I was like a greenish being. Now I was like, oh my God, am I reptilian? But it wasn't reptilian. It was like Andromeda. I don't know. So I was like on a whole kick about where my starseed family was, but I might have been in Andromeda, but I was also Palladian as well. So I
Mhm.
don't know what that was, but that was interesting. And I think we all might have aspects of reptilian in our DNA intermixed
Absolutely.
that aren't bad, but maybe there's something about that. So
I
Yeah.
think we're
interesting.
all a bunch of mutts. That's what I think.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Who
For
knows
sure.
what they concocted in those, vials of like making us, I'm really anybody familiar with the blood types? I started going down the blood type route with a actually, believe it or not, my kid's tutor. So I happened to like put out spirituality, and she was really into the blood types and the origins, and that all goes back to Enoch and all that stuff, and how that we are seeded from, somewhere from Adam, like A positive is an Adam blood type and all this stuff. Is anyone familiar in the group with
No, but tell
with
me, what is O
yeah, yeah,
positive?
yeah.
Yes, that's
O
what I am
positive is like
too.
the O positive is like the Neanderthal. Not that you're a Neanderthal, but that's the bloodline of where that
Okay.
comes from. And then the the A negative bloodlines are, see, my son's A negative, which is really interesting because my husband and I and my daughter are all A positive. We're just, so when they came in with A negative, I was like, that can't be right. But my mom's A negative, and my Brian's father's O negative, so it fed through.
Mm.
What does that say that you're showing there, Mike?
Oh, it's from Shantae, but yeah, every blood type is not just a biological marker, it's a magnetic operating system. So,
Yeah.
and it goes the article that she's got here,
I
different
would love more information on that, but what I read in this one book, it was a person that was also kind of talking about the wars, the Nephilim, and all that stuff, and how there's the B negative blood types. It really goes into depth, but that because I was concerned because I'm like, oh my God, my son's an A negative blood type. What does that mean? And he has, and you wonder why some people don't have any empathy, like why they like serial killers. It'd be interesting to know what their blood type is because that might be where they're from originally. But I was just curious. And there's nothing necessarily bad or good, but that Jesus, again, we don't know because this is just from this book, what came with an A B negative bloodline to balance the negative and the positive that was going on. And that COVID was designed to kill A positive and O positive bloodlines.
it
Yeah.
Interesting.
it
So if
didn't
you notice, a
work.
lot of people got sick, and I was extremely sick. I got like long COVID symptoms. My hair was falling out. I have like Epstein-Barr now, like from it, and I didn't get, the jab or anything, but it didn't matter. I guess whatever shedding was going on. So I was very curious about the blood types, but I've only been able to get so much information, and it got pretty deep, going all the way back up to, um, you know, uh, the Anunnaki and all that. So it really stems from those are the creators of the bloodlines, essentially, and then the interbreeding and the mixing.
That is so cool.
Isn't that cool? So I
Yeah.
would not like to speak as a pro, but I did dive into it a little bit and found that interesting. And that they're also talking about, and I don't want to like trigger anybody, but if you guys remember um, the actor Caviezel, what's his first name? Jim Caviezel, I think.
Jim,
He was talking about what they were doing with the adrenochrome, and they were taking people's DNA, and they could basically spray the whatever chemicals that they're creating in these labs with people's blood types and the adrenochrome, and they could end that bloodline instantly. So that was
Wow.
something that was going on. Again, that's why Ukraine and all that is really intense because there was a lot of that going on there. And I don't mean to trigger anyone if they don't know this, but this is what I was telling Barbara. I went deep into my spiritual awakening, and then all of a sudden I got routed to trying to get to the truth and to the bottom with COVID, to seeing what was really going on and how all these people are covering up because they don't want to expose what they're doing, and the underground tunnels and the children, and it's all relevant, and why these wars are still going on because they don't want it to stop.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh
we're
yeah, I
on
know
a
all
high note.
about all of it. I know all about
Exactly.
all of it.
Yeah. So, but I do feel like we are, there are truth speakers out there. There are people that wanna really move this in the right direction, and people are leaving politics, right? Openly. That woman, not supporting the Republican Party anymore because she wants the truth to come out, right? So the more people are brave to remove themselves, the more that we can go in the right direction for humanity.
Here's my question for you, Danielle, because
Yeah.
I live in wonderful Georgia, where MTG is from. It's
Yeah.
like we all just used to shake our heads and say, "Do what?" I'm curious if she says she's done, but I'm going to be real curious if she does not jump back in the race for a Senate position because
Yeah. Is she trying to
it's
do
opposite.
something?
It's opposite here right now. We've got two people that are from the wrong side and the blue side that are actually working for everybody and just
Right.
trying to do the normal kind of thing for everybody, not picking a side.
Sure.
And I'll give her credit. There was an article in the paper too where they interviewed her and everything else. But I'm like, I'll believe everything
Until you see.
once that election comes around. What I think it's
Yeah.
next year, whatever, for those seats, because yeah, heaven forbid, anyway, they've dug their own.
I just want people I think we just need good people that really
Well,
want,
that's exactly it. It's
that's all
like,
we want. And that's what I think most people that aren't still asleep truly believe. They're fighting for me over here on the left. They're fighting for me over on the right. And then when you hear stories about this guy, and whether you're a Candace fan or not, he was on Candace Owens, and he was
Mhm.
basically like, he was in military, and because he found an underground tunnel, his life was destroyed, and he lived and he had to be running on the run from the cartel for 35 years.
Right.
And this is your own person. So we're meant to believe that the government's going to support our people. It's just for the more we hear these stories, the more we know, like, it's not what we think it is. It's
100%.
sad, and it's on both sides. It's been happening
Well, yeah,
forever.
it's the machine
It's the machine.
that spends. That's my favorite. It's when
I'll
you
have to write that down. Give me a second. Where's my pen? What does that say? Conspirators hierarchy?
Committee of 300.
A committee of 300?
Yeah.
All right. And what
It's
what
all
what's
the
in that?
same. It's the uniparty.
Is that
It's
about the uniparty?
yeah, it's about how yeah, it talks about drugs and JFK assassination and how Bush and they're all on the same team. It's a it names so there are there's a 300 families in this world that control essentially the world, and
Yes.
they name them in the back of the book.
And I and,
And they're all bankers. Yeah.
and they might all be from the same bloodline too. And that's interesting. Everyone has
They're
to know
all from
that
the
is a
same
president.
bloodline. Yeah,
Yes.
Committee of 300 and Creature from Jekyll Island are two books everybody should read. That's about the reserve, the the reserve, our financial system.
Yeah.
Committee of 300 and Creature from Jekyll Island, which is in Atlanta, Mike.
yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh,
Off
that's so cool.
it's Jekyll Island's off South Georgia. Yep.
Yeah, that's where they all got together and
Yeah.
conspired to take over the world.
Interesting. Interesting. I love it. I'm constantly I'm a truth seeker. I don't know if that's an Aquarian trait, but I am. I in my one of
There's
my
so
campaigns.
much, there's so much to learn.
There's so much to learn, but there is like something that we know to be ultimate truth. Because if you talk to somebody and they're like, "This is true to me," I can understand that because what they're observing with their own eyes is to be true. But sometimes we don't have all the information to know, is that the ultimate truth, right? So I'm always seeking knowledge, and I'm always open to changing my beliefs. I don't know how you guys are, or have you been on your journey, but I've had many beliefs shattered, and that's okay. And I was able to regroup and realize, okay, and political was that's how one of my biggest awakenings happened, because I did a little bit of research. And then once I did that, I was like, oh, so that's what happened. I had no idea what that whole WikiLeaks thing was. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But that was a big awakening for me. So, anyway, this was a lovely conversation. I appreciate all of you guys. And I want to thank you so much for joining 5D All Day today. And we're going to be wrapping up, but we'll be joining again in the new year. And so I just want to thank you all again. If you're interested in conversations like this group meets all the time. Amazing people. They meet quite regularly, I think like 3 or 4 times a week, maybe. And we have other speakers. So you can try it out at spirit-calling.com and see if this is a good fit for you. So thanks again, everybody. And I'll see you next month.
All right.
Thank
Take care.
you. Take
Hello.
Thank
care.
you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.